There is a pressing need to professionally develop our next generation. Leadership supply hasn't kept up with demand. We need to invest in individuals who will be ready to fill mission-critical roles and lead our organizations. Next Gen Leaders is a collaborative community of seasoned consultants focusing on building an integrated approach to learning and development. We're delighted to introduce you to one such member of our team. Okay, I'm here with Susan Gregory. Susan's here to talk about designing better meetings. And Susan, I was taken by the title of the topic because when I think about meetings, I think of hosting meetings, running meetings, planning meetings. I rarely think about designing meetings. So maybe you could talk a little bit to the importance of this crucial step.
Absolutely. Designing meetings is about starting with thinking of the end in mind. So by the end of the meeting, what do you want to have happen? What are some of the results of the meeting? Where will you be? And then working back from that and saying, how are we going to make that happen? And that is the design of the meeting. It's important to think about not just an agenda and the timing, but also the activities that happen within the meeting.
What's the importance of having a third party in there?
Okay, so there's a couple of things. So for one thing, to have a facilitator, the facilitator is the person who's responsible for making sure that the outcomes of the meeting are achieved. Okay. And then the second thing is having a neutral facilitator. A neutral facilitator is someone who's going to come in and who does not have a vested interest in the outcome. They're going to know what is expected to happen by the end of the meeting, and they're going to make sure that everyone has a chance to have their say. However, sometimes it's not possible to have a neutral facilitator. It could be that for cost reasons or timing, you have to choose someone from inside your organization. And in that case, that person needs to be as neutral as possible, even if they do have a vested interest in the outcome. In many cases, if the person who is the leader of the group is the facilitator, it can be difficult to get everything that you want from the group. The reason for that is sometimes people feel shy to speak up if they know that their boss, or they feel that their boss, is going to be judging what they've said. So that's why another reason why it's great to get a neutral facilitator, someone from outside the organization who's going to come in and treat everyone equally within the meeting.
So I'm a manager, I want to run an effective meeting. I'm going to think through sort of what I'm going to do before the meeting, what I'm going to do during the meeting, and what I'm going to do after.
Yes.
Let's walk through those 3 steps and maybe take a look at before first. What is it I should be doing to prepare for this effectively?
Okay, so once again, before you're going to start with thinking of what do I want to have happen by the end of the meeting. Okay. And then when you've decided that, you'll need to think about who should be there. So of course you want to have the decision makers there, but you might also think about who are the people who would influence that decision, because if the decision makers won't feel comfortable making the decision on their own, you might want to bring in some of their key people as well. So you've got what you want to have happen, you've got who you want to be there, and then you start designing the activities within the meeting. To give you some examples, one thing might be, does everyone have the same information? Is everyone starting from the same point? And if the answer is no, you might think of having someone make a presentation to have the key points understood by everyone within the meeting before you get on to another activity. If the meeting is about decision making, for example, then after the first presentation, you might have the opportunity for everyone to have their say. Going in, for example, a round-robin format, which means every person in the meeting speaks what they think in order to contribute to the decision being made. Depending again on the outcome, there could be other activities like brainstorming and so on. And then when you're at the point of making a decision, you might have different activities like voting or allocating points against criteria, so that by the end of the meeting you can come up with that decision. Okay,
that makes a lot of sense. So we've got the right people in the room, we've done some prep work, we know what the desired outcome is. What about in the meeting? You talked about some of the round-robin opportunities. Other guidelines for within the meeting?
Yes, absolutely. So the facilitator has 2 main things to take care of. They are concerned about making sure that all the topics get covered, so as we were talking about all the different activities that happen within the meeting, and also the process of the meeting. And that also includes the way that people are relating to one another. Okay. So if you're facilitating and you're noticing that one person is talking a lot more than another, then you might make sure that you're hearing from them. So say, oh, let me just could you hold that thought one moment, because we haven't heard from Karen over here, and make sure you bring those points in. So the facilitator is making sure that everyone has their say, as well as making sure that you cover all the points on the agenda within the timing allowed.
Mm-hmm. That makes tons of sense. So we go through that, everything's effective, the meeting wraps. Now what? What's the crucial role for the leader in the follow-up?
So make sure that very soon after the meeting takes place, you're rolling with the actions. So here's what we decided, or here's what actions we agreed, and make sure that the follow-up happens soon after, because once you've had a really effective meeting, you want to make sure that people feel that momentum of what you've created together.
Mm-hmm. So you've obviously put a lot of thought into this. Is there any other guidance you'd like to share with people, particularly towards creating the strong meeting?
I would probably recap by just saying, begin with the end in mind. What is it that you're looking to achieve in the meeting? And be clear with everyone before they even accept what they're there for.